Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So welcome to another market stream, market open stream. How is the market going to behave today? Yesterday was quite good, then turned not bad, but we retraced. But the interesting thing is gold is dumping hard. So does that mean we should get ready for Bitcoin's next leg up? I believe so. So let's talk about it. And let's talk about everything else that's going on, including Clash. I got some big updates for you guys. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out a day at 108.1, which is basically the same point as yesterday before we started moving up. And we went to 114 yesterday in the morning, and then in the afternoon it started sliding down, and we are in the same place as yesterday, basically. Okay, but what's different is gold is not skyrocketing right now. Gold has come down like 6% today, even more so, another 2%, and silver, same thing, has the bubble burst. Yesterday actually fell down almost below 4,000 an ounce. Now it's recovered a little bit. So where has that money gone? That's a lot of money that just came out of gold. Where did it go? Is it getting ready to come into crypto? Well, I guess we'll see. Today, the U.S. market is opening up red right now. Red right now. Let's see. Most of the stocks, MicroStrategy down, Coinbase down, Robinhood down. Broadcom is up. That's the only good thing. But right now, everything seems to be down. Why is that? Well, it's geopolitical stuff. Okay, obviously, that's the only thing right now that's left. Really, this trade war that's going on with China, and then now there's, you know, this talk with Putin that Trump says he doesn't want to have another wasted meeting. So it's making Moscow a little anxious because they do want Putin to talk to Trump, and we know that Trump just talked to Zelensky, and it was a big shouting match. I don't know what happened and what was the conclusion of that, but this is also, you know, kind of weighing on people's thoughts right now, I guess. But what seems to be good is, and here's one good thing about the tariffs, negotiating power. So it does seem like Trump is going to force India to cut Russian oil purchases, which will make it much harder for them to continue that war, right? By slashing tariffs. And this deal is supposed to be announced soon. So Russia's probably not feeling too happy about this. Okay, so yeah, I mean, geopolitically, there's only two things left: the Ukraine and Russian war, and then the trade war between U.S. and China. And you know, once those things are resolved, there's really nothing left to be worried about for now. Knock on wood. And yesterday we got some good news from one of the Fed governors, Waller, who basically announced that the Fed is going to be utilizing and looking at like DeFi, digital assets, digital ledgers, and basically it's part of the financial fabric. That sounds very promising. That sounds very promising. As long as we don't have CBDCs, which is fine. They already said we're not, right? But to embrace all the goodness that digital ledgers, digital assets, DeFi offers by the Fed and by our government would be very, very, very good. Very good indeed. All right. So outside of these things, what else? Yesterday we had a good reversal on ETF inflows. We had 4 bad days. Okay, if you count this one too, maybe like 5 bad days One good day between them. And yesterday was a really good day. 477 million inflow. So we are back on track. Ethereum, also a good day, 141 million. So good. Again, I've been making this point. Wall Street's not the reason why we're suppressed. Wall Street is not the reason why we're having these giant liquidation events. Wall Street is almost at this point like retail investors. Okay, they're loading up, they're DCAing, and sometimes they get a little scared. So they sell, but then they buy right back in. So right now, Wall Street's not the problem. The problem are the market makers. They're the ones that's doing all this, the liquidations and everything that's going on, right? So Wall Street continues to buy. Now, if we had weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks of all red and selling, then it's pretty obvious where the sell pressure is. But that's just simply not the case. Or maybe it's just all due to Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer, today, 4:35 a.m. Crypto due for a push today. Why does he have to add that today? He could just say crypto due for a push. Make it more generic, like my titles. Get ready for Bitcoin's next leg up. I didn't specifically say this hour or at opening or even today, just referring to it's going to come soon. But because inverse Cramer is 100%, because he added that today, we're probably not going to be pushing today. I don't know. I don't know. Jim Cramer is bullish on Bitcoin now. He has flip-flopped so many times. But now it does seem like he is staying on the bullish, on the pro side. But you know, tweets like this just does not help. Not help. Even BitGet said maybe we should block Jim Cramer. I mean, the inverse Cramer is correct. It's like, it's 100%. It's not even like 50-50. It's like 100%. All right. So moving on. What else is there? Bitcoin whales are converting the Bitcoin to spot ETFs. Why is that? Because it makes it easier for them to borrow against their ETFs, including estate plans. That is actually true. That's something that I haven't really thought about or concentrated on, right? Giving, especially estate plans, giving your Bitcoin to your loved ones is quite a difficult thing. Like, you might have it on your ledger or treasure or wherever, right? And you have to store your recovery key somewhere or phrase somewhere, right? Do you really want to give all that to some estate planning company who then has access to your crypto? Do you really trust them enough to not look at it themselves, right? Like, it's kind of tough if you think about it. But, you know, if it's all in ETFs, then it's quite easy to be passed on. And yeah, it's easier to borrow against. I didn't even think about that. That's actually quite interesting. But yeah, that may be why some of the stuff we're seeing is happening. I don't know why it would be right now, but okay, good point. What else? Bitcoin treasury companies, okay, are going to continue to load up, and probably they will all be filthy rich in the future. Fred Krueger says MicroStrategy or strategy will be worth $1 trillion in the next 10 years. Well, it makes sense because the next 10 years, Bitcoin will be well above $1 million each. And you just do the math in terms of how much strategy is holding, and you times it by $1 million each, then you could figure it out that, yeah, they should be at $1 trillion market cap. Kind of easy to figure out, right? And that's why many others are following, so many others are following Saylor's footsteps and buying as much Bitcoin as they can. Fidelity, another large asset manager, just like BlackRock, even though they don't have the same kind of negative connotation as BlackRock or Vanguard or State Street, they're enormous. They're like top 5. They just don't have the negative. I don't know why they don't. Maybe they're just more legit, but no one ever fears Fidelity taking over companies, but they do fear BlackRock taking over companies. But anyways, Fidelity, they own a lot of stuff, okay? Bitcoin mining companies, a lot of crypto companies. They have their own ETF, which is doing very good. Basically, they're all in at this point, which is good. It's a big endorsement. Again, no one really talks bad about Fidelity. At least I don't hear it. Maybe some of you guys are more in tune with financial markets and people do bash Fidelity, but I just don't hear it. All right, what else? Standard Chartered, one of the biggest banks out of Europe, is saying, hey, this 19 billion liquidation event, you know what? It happened. So what? It's a good thing. Now the markets can recover, and they still think, despite all the FUD that's out there, even with the uncertainty, 150 for Bitcoin is very easy, and 200, they're sticking with that is going to be our top for this cycle. And I don't disagree. Right now, it just seems like some people haven't lived through a cycle, haven't seen how fast things can move. So that's why I do believe there's many people that are very bearish, and they're thinking that, no, this is not going to happen. We're not going to go to 200K. We're going to be nowhere close to it. Maybe even 175. No, we're not going to do it. But if you live through a couple of previous cycles, you'll know that when FOMO hits, it hits hard. I mean, just look at what happened with gold. Do you realize how much money went into gold recently to have it go up to 4,300? That 1,000 rise for gold, which was a 33% gain, right, within the last few months. We're talking about like trillions of dollars, trillions upon trillions upon trillions to make that happen. And that's all due to FOMO. Just a little bit of that coming to Bitcoin will double it already. So there's so much money out there. When FOMO hits, you just don't know. Things could get real wild really, really fast. And all the metrics that we have that are measuring Bitcoin's top has not flashed green, has not triggered. This is the NVT Golden Cross. Look at 2017. Obviously, we hit the red mark. Even in 2021, we hit that red mark. Right now, we're nowhere close. Nowhere close. Do not give up hope. Okay? October is not over. It's over until it's over. Until we're in November, then we can say October's over. We still have the remaining of this week and all of next week. And we head into a FOMC decision. Okay? Hopefully they're open for that. I don't think they're going to shut down for that. And we know we're going to get another rate cut. That's coming up next week. There's a lot of goodness still around the corner. People that are holding between 10 to 100,000 Bitcoin. I would say that's like whale territory. Maybe it's like shark territory, but it's shark whale territory. And you can see, yeah, even though we declined a little bit, okay, but overall, we are still holding really high. So the sharks and whales have not really disappeared. They're staying strong. So believers will continue to believe. That's a good thing. All right, speaking of gold, basically, if you look at this chart, how you interpret it is this. Bitcoin outperforms every single asset class every single year besides the years where the bubble bursts. So that's usually the year right after the top. 2013 was the top, first cycle. 2017 was the top, second cycle. 2021, the top for the third cycle. And you can see the following years after that was down. No other year has Bitcoin been outperformed by anything. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting at number 4. Shocking. Shocking. So just think about it. A lot of gold bugs are saying, well, gold is outperforming Bitcoin this year. Well, I mean, look at every other year. It's never happened. And there's still plenty of time left to make up that 20%. Easy. Easy. It can be done within a week. We still have 1.5 weeks of October. We still have November and December. And if this turns out to be a super cycle, we just keep on going, and we don't really have crypto winter, we could just keep on going in 2026. There's no reason to think we're just going to catastrophically start falling in January, like previous cycles, because of all these institutions, because of Wall Street, because of all these treasury holding companies. Yep. And then if you look at gold, I mentioned this many times. Last time gold rallied hard, it was to 2,000 range. And then it fell down. Okay. And what happened after it fell down? It helped push Bitcoin upwards. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Right. At least for a couple days. If this downtrend for gold continues and then it continues to retrace, that's a lot of money flowing out of gold. Like I said, it takes trillions of dollars to move gold up the way it has been moving up. Just a little bit of that coming into Bitcoin is going to make a huge difference. And look at what happened last year, last cycle. It wasn't until the end before we started moving. Same thing as 2023, same thing as 2024. And things are aligning right now. Yep. All right. What else? What else is happening? Ripple. Some of you guys are Ripple fans. Ripple plans on raising $1 billion so that they could buy $1 billion with the XRP and put it in their treasury. I don't quite understand this because Ripple already has enormous amount of XRP, but I guess it's not considered their treasury. I think it's just a way to just boost XRP. I mean, I don't know any other way to think about this because they already have 50% of the supply. Why do you need to buy more XRP? But if it happens, it should be good. It should be good for XRP. And you have others like SBI and SBI, and there's another company I forgot. But yeah, they're all about building XRP treasuries too. So it's not just Bitcoin treasuries, not just ETH treasuries and Sol treasuries. You're going to have a whole bunch of XRP treasuries as well. So we'll see. Solana gets its first spot ETF in Hong Kong. That is awesome. And we will get our own Solana ETF soon. I saw an article, maybe I closed it. No, it's this one. We have 155 ETFs waiting. I don't know if all 155 will be approved, but the bigger chain ones like Solana, XRP, and others will definitely get approved. And this could ignite the next altcoin season too. Institutional money coming in, there's so much of it, it could definitely make a huge difference. And that's coming right around the corner too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Today, NASDAQ looks like it wants to turn. It's barely. NASDAQ and S&P are barely down. Barely down. Let's see if we could get a good recovery, a good turnaround today, like yesterday. It could happen. It could happen. We're having a good recovery day with Clash. We were at just, in fact, we were just above 40 million market cap. But more importantly, our holders continue to go up. 6,700 holders. We just keep going up with holders. So just look at that. No big drops. We just keep on going versus all these other communities that keeps on dropping by a lot, but not Clash. This is the greatest community. And with the weakness too, you know, you just got to think about, with the weakness, we're still growing. Everyone else is losing. There's no other community coin projects that are doing well right now. All the BNB ones faded. There's none other on Sol that's doing well, none on Base that's doing well that I've heard of. Clash is the only one that's holding and doing well. So just imagine, this is during bad times. What about during good times? What this project is going to do? I mean, just take a second to think about that. All right. That's pretty much it. Let's do some Q&A. Gold is recovering slightly today. It's still down 1.2%, but it's looking like it wants to recover. Okay, NVIDIA is recovering today, so that's good. I think the market could turn green. AMD, Broadcom is, so AI plays are doing well right now. Still waiting for Coinbase. Coinbase had a good day yesterday. Now all of a sudden sold off. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If Coinbase recovers fully today, that means Wall Street's buying a lot. We'll see. Robinhood is still down, although I'm very, very bullish on Robinhood, so I expect them to come back very quickly. They were just too overbought, to be quite honest. But as for Bitcoin, we're still kind of staying where we are right now, which isn't a bad spot. Obviously, if we're above 110, it would be better. But, you know, 108 is not bad. And yesterday goes to show you how fast things can move. We recovered to 114 yesterday, and that's only, what, $10,000 away from all-time high. So, again, people that are super bearish know that Bitcoin could get to a new high within days. We don't even have to wait weeks. We could get back to where we were just within days if we had just a little push. Some of that gold money going into Bitcoin, or some of these geopolitical stuff being resolved. It could happen very, very quickly. And a lot of shorts still waiting to be liquidated. Chit chat, you know what? I've said this time and time again. October is not over until it's over. I said the same thing the last 2 years because we saw the same thing. I remember last year, the first few weeks of October was negative and people were calling like, okay, there's no October. It's over, blah, blah. We're going to go down more. And then we did have good October. And then we went into a really good November. You just have to look back. Same thing happened last year. And what happened last year? Rate cuts. Same thing. Same time. It happened in October. So you just gotta, just like, sometimes you just gotta be patient. It's not going to happen right away. Bitcoin's not going to go to 200,000 right away. If it was that easy and that predictable, then everyone would be millionaires. Everyone would be billionaires. Of course, there's going to be a few curveballs in there. What do they say? Wealth is built by transferring between the inpatient to the patient, something like that. That's exactly what it is when it comes to investing. The more impatient you are, the more you go risk and the more you're going to lose. No matter what it is, even with meme coins, even with community projects outside of Bitcoin, you got to pick the good ones and then you got to stick with it. Scotty, I appreciate that. I don't know. I just kind of talk about whatever I feel like. And I try to put some logic into it. I don't just try to read the news. I try to put a spin on it or how I feel or whatever. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Good time to buy a house or wait for a cool down? Well, I saw an article saying that mortgage applications went up by like, I don't know, 80% from last year because rates are down. A lot of people are buying houses. So I can't tell you if it's a good time to buy a house or not. I've been saying the housing markets are going to do bad for a while, and they're just not doing bad. It's still very limited supply, and rates have come down. So now there's more people buying houses, and prices have not gone down. See, we're slowly turning to green again. Look at that. We're almost back up to 109. Again, you are your own worst enemy. Okay? Other people can say whatever they want, but you are your own worst enemy. If you believe in all the FUD, which you know is false, but you fall for it, well then, you know, you got no one to blame but yourself. Cal R, I have a F8, not a 458. So I got some interesting news to share about Clash. First of all, the new website is up. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do so. If you haven't entered your Soul wallet for a giveaway, make sure you do so, but you have to hold a minimum on Clash. But this is what I'm gonna do. I came out with this idea yesterday. It's very well received in the community in Discord. Very well received when I was streaming last night. So I'm going to share with you guys in case you're not aware. Okay, I'm going to release 3 tiers of NFTs. And this also relates to the previous I Am George holders. So I'm going to have a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. This is listed in Discord. And the tier 1, so basically the point of these is to raise money for the Treasury, to add to liquidity pool and also stabilize the ecosystem and also have extra money for continuation of tournaments, events, and other miscellaneous things like builds and stuff like that. There's so many people that want a tier 1, which basically gives them a special edition CRU watch, 1 of 21, a private dinner with me, and invite to Vegas. Plus, the biggest thing is you get a grant of Clash with these. And that's using a 20 million reference point, 20 million market cap reference point, and there's a vesting schedule. So the T1 is 3 months, T2 is 4 months, T3 is 6 months. But basically, you're getting more than what you're paying for. You just have to wait a little bit. And plus, you got all these side benefits, right? So what I'm going to be doing is this, but I'm going to make the T1s a blind auction because there's way too many people that want it. And I can't go above 20 because I only have 21 watches, the serial number ones, and one of them is going to be for me. But yeah, that's coming soon. And on top of that, staking is coming soon too after this. And in case you don't know what the watch looks like, it's going to be amazing. I posted last night. See, that's the green face. This is going to be a limited edition box. This is with Coin Vigilante. And this is what the watch is going to be looking like. It's a gold watch with a CRU. And on the face says, "We're all George." And skeleton. And you can see a serial number right there, if you could see it. It's on the bottom. I will be having other watches, but they're not going to be serial numbered like this. So the 1 in 21 is going to be the most coveted of all. But yeah, I will be doing this as well in case you guys are interested. All right. Again, if you're not in Discord and discussing things, you should be. You don't have to just discuss Clash. There's a lot of people just discussing gold and general markets, and obviously a lot of people in there to talk about boot camp and trading and other things, even car chat. So everyone should be in Discord. And the link is in the description. But this is also coming. I just want to tell you guys that because you know what? I'm pushing forward with Clash, and it's going to be amazing. And there's zero doubt in my mind this is going to be one of the greatest projects after we have this bull run. I'm just going to leave you with that. Have I ever driven an E46 M3? I had one, yeah, with the SMG transmission. I wasn't too fond of the SMG, but the car itself was nice. It was fast, sounded good. It had a unique exhaust sound. The door panels, I remember, were kind of cheap. But yeah. Fire down below. Do you think Near and Render will pass all-time high this cycle? I don't know. Honestly, I can't say yes for sure. They are both extremely down from last cycle. They could definitely have a good recovery, but I don't know if they can recover past their previous high in 2021. Let's see. Only AI plays are doing well today. AI and Clash, of course. Clash is up 30-something% today. Yeah, the BMW era where they came out SMG, SMG2, and all that, the single clutch automatics, they were all garbage. Unfortunately, whole car industry went through that. My Ferrari 360 had that, like an F1 transmission and a single clutch. Any of the single clutch autos sucked. You know, years later, it came out the dual clutch ones. Dual clutch ones are the standard these days. Donovan, I have enough Clash, so you don't need to take me shopping with your Clash. You just hold it. Do you think, Chris Daniel, do you think Sol will hit 350 this year? I do think so. I think it'll be well above that. Well above it. Probably led by Clash this time. You know, Sol generally moves a lot when meme season is upon us. We saw that earlier this year. And who knows? Maybe Clash will be leading meme season this year, even though it's a community project. But we may be leading it this year. Dual clutches, are like nice, but yeah, I prefer a manual. This is why the manual like exotic cars have all gone up through the roof. If you can get like for Ferraris, for example, like a 6-speed gated 360 is worth like double a F1 transmission. If you can get a 6-speed manual on a 430, they are so coveted. It's the last Ferrari with a 6-speed, and it's impossible to find. At least in the US. I heard in Europe there's more. But you look at all the Porsches. The reason why GT3s, okay, there was a whole like series, I forgot, 991.1 or 911.2 or something, where GT3s only came with autos, and they're not worth nearly as much as the ones that only have 6-speed. Car enthusiasts like driving stick. They like having a third pedal. They like having exhaust noise, right? And I don't know why car manufacturers don't realize that. They think EV is the future, sure, but not car enthusiasts. If you're going to produce cars, you could have all EVs and hybrids, but leave a few good ones for the enthusiasts to want and to covet. Right? Look at Dodge and Stellantis. They were trying to get rid of all the V8s. Their new Charger, their new EV Charger, total sales flop. You think anyone wants an EV Charger? So now they're bringing back gas engines. They put in like a V6. No, people want the Hellcats. Why do you think Hellcats do so well? Because everyone wants a giant V8. We don't care if they're inefficient on gas, right? I don't know why car manufacturers and their executives have such a hard time understanding this. Not everyone wants an EV car or a hybrid car or a gas efficient car. The people that are willing to dish out big money want loud V8s with optional 6-speed transmission. That's really it. If they came out with a ZR1 or the new ZR1X in a manual, the price will be like double with that. But, you know, they didn't design it to be like that. Moonlight, where's the dump? We're at the same point as yesterday at this point in time. You could see it. We're actually above by $85. American roads and rules are way too boring for sports cars. You might as well base them on efficiency. Europe is where it's at. You know there's a lot more roads in America than Europe. There's more roads in America than all of Europe combined. But I do agree with you. Europe has some of the best curvy driving roads. But, you know, there's way more places to drive in America than Europe. I don't think people understand the scale, the size scale between the United States versus Europe. Like there are some states, Texas for example, that's bigger than countries in Europe. The United States is basically equivalent to all of Europe in one. So, you know, when we talk about a road trip, like 1,000-mile road trip, that's like going from Spain all the way into like, I don't know where, to Finland or something. You're like crossing 4 countries. UK is smaller than California. I do think that's correct. California is an enormous state. Florida too. I mean, all these big states are bigger than a lot of countries in Europe. I think Newsom was saying that the GDP of California is the fifth largest in the world. So if California broke off into its own country, it would be the fifth largest country by GDP. Just take a second to think about that. The US, China, and probably Japan is top three. I don't know who's number four. Maybe Russia. I don't know. Or UK. But outside of that, it would be California next. That's staggering if you think about it. But it's because it's a big state and you got a lot of rich people there. India, yeah, that makes sense. India is probably the third or fourth largest. Man, we added another like 30 or yeah, 30 something holders just within this stream. You know, our holder count just continues to go up. And that's still so young. Look at all these other ones, okay? Look at all these other ones at 80, 160, 118, right? 70, 80. Just 10% of my audience getting into Clash would bring this up to 80,000. Not counting even my Facebook audience or X. If you count everything together, that'd be 100,000. Just 10% of you guys would make this be at like 100,000 holders. That shows you how early we still are. Now, I know I can't convince all of you guys to like Clash, but 10% of you guys, very easy. It's still very early. Okay, I don't know where you got that. Yeehaw says Europe has way more roads than the US. You realize the US was built on roads. US was built with roads in mind. It was built so that everyone would have a car, not like European cities. I've been to many European cities. You can't even have a truck in there. The roads are tiny. It was built for horses and buggies. Okay, and then they just converted them to cars, roads for cars. So don't tell me that Europe has more roads than the United States. It does not. I don't even need to fact check that. I just know. There's way more roads in the US. The Clash dip, you missed out, man. Obviously, we're not back to our previous high. We were at 83 million. You know, we may have overshot a little bit, too much FOMO. We claimed we jumped down recently to about 18 million. A lot of whales I talked about, a lot of whales got out. That's good. The ones that don't believe, we want them out. It was a good weeding out. And now we're, you know, back to 40 million. Like the roads in Europe, European cities are just like ridiculous. Okay, this is ridiculously small, and yeah, I mean, if you live in a city, I don't know why you have a car. Just take the bus or something, um, or public transport, whatever else. If there's a train or something. It's the same with a lot of Asian countries too. Asian cities are like extremely packed and small. You don't want to be driving in there. But you know, even in America, like you drive in New York or LA or Chicago or Boston, yeah, it sucks with traffic, but the roads are way bigger. Way, way, way bigger. It's not even comparison. I wish I could go and drive an Autobahn. That is one of my bucket list things to do. That is what I want to do, for sure. What do you think a realistic market cap could get to by the end of this year? That's a good question. I think we are at 3.5 trillion. I think we could triple that. I think we could be at least 10. At least 10. Really depends on how crazy things get. If Bitcoin could really get to 200,000 or slightly below. If it get to 200,000, then yeah, I think it's very easy. I think if Bitcoin gets to 200,000, ETH will be at 10,000 plus. XRP will probably be around $10. Solana will probably be at $7,000 to $1,000. And, you know, the market cap will be well above 10 trillion. We're fat here in the US because we just drive. Yeah. It's going to be like the Wall-E movie, right? I love the Wall-E movie from Pixar. I mean, it really portrays like what society is going to be like in the future. Every service, everything that we invent makes our lives easier and lazier. And everyone just goes with it, right? Look at how convenient DoorDash is now. You don't even have to go out to a drive-through. You just order food. You don't have to pick up food anymore. You just sit at home and order food. It's gonna be like that. Once Tesla is done with their robots, what do you think people are gonna do with it? They go force it to take out the garbage, go, you know, cook meals, go do the laundry. So even chores won't need to be done anymore. So what is the average person going to be doing with all their time? Right? Probably watching TikToks or watching YouTube videos and sitting on the couch and being lazy. Everything that we invent makes us lazier. Who goes to libraries these days? Nobody. Everyone just goes on Google and now ChatGPT. Like, you really don't need to do anything anymore. Everything is just done at a convenience of your home. So Wall-E is really a good prediction of the future. It's going to be like that. Eventually, we're going to have these hovering chairs that you'll just sit on and it'll just bring you everywhere. And you could do everything from that hovering chair, or it's all hooked up to your mind anyways. And you can order stuff. It'll just be brought to you. It's going to be like that. It might take another 100 years, maybe 200 years, but we will get to that point, and it's going to be unfortunate. You still read? Well, good for you. I know some people read for enjoyment. I still see some people pull out a book, but a lot of people just go with what's the books that read for you? What are the books that what do you call it? The books that reads out loud. Like, even that is making you lazier because you don't even have to read. You're just listening now. Yeah, audiobooks. Think about it. Audiobooks have also made people lazier. They don't even have to turn the pages anymore. They're just listening instead of reading. Beach Life says, I retired in Thailand 5 months ago. I love walking here by the beach and mountains. You know, the older I get, the more I do enjoy stuff like that, right? Just, I'm on a computer all day, and a lot of times I just want to go out. So I take my dogs out for a walk many times. just to get out of the house, right? So I feel like the older you get, the more like things that are considered like time consuming or chores or, you know, tedious stuff actually can be relaxing, right? For a while before, I liked like gardening, for example. And I know people like to read or, you know, still work on their cars, right? But these are things that only can be done if you have the convenience of time. If you're working 10 hours a day, you don't have the luxury to do these things. But if you do have the luxury of time, then, you know, some of these things become quite enjoyable or pleasurable. But most people do not. Thoughts on Cadena going belly up? Well, I saw that from a mile away. You know, when they were hot in 2021, I thought they had really good promise. They had these chain web technology that made them scale really good. And they were founded by good leaders. And then I realized that they had no clue what they were doing. No clue. They had no marketing plan. They didn't push. They brought in all these people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. They were burning money. So I jumped off that bandwagon quickly. And I told you guys that. And, you know, it does not surprise me what happened. They just completely gave up, basically. I have no idea what they were doing. Fibnail says, I don't think it's always lazier. Audiobooks reading is more efficient. See, write what you just said right there. Audiobook reading. You're not reading. You have changed it to listening. You could argue it's more efficient, but it has made you lazier in one way. That is, you're not reading anymore. But yeah, you could do it while you're in the car or at the gym or whatever, right? But it has made you lazier in some way because you're no longer reading. It's no longer a book. You get to say it's a podcast now almost because you're listening to someone talk. Is gold is still down. So you can't argue that money is going into gold right now. Where has that money gone? We went down $300, almost $400 from gold. That's almost 10% down. We're talking about like trillions upon trillions of dollars pulled away. Where is that right now? Imagine if $1 trillion went into Clash. Where it would be. But where is that right now? You know, that's the question mark. People usually they go into gold when they're scared, but if you take money out of gold, where is that going into? Like, I don't see any markets doing well right now. Holding cash is not a great idea. Not with, maybe they're all holding a yuan or something, but like holding a USD right now is not a good idea either. Yeah. Anyways, let's do some giveaways. In case you haven't entered your Soul Wallet yet, you should. It's on the page, georgeplaysclashroyale.com. It's in the description. Giving more Soul every single day to the loyal Clash holders. And once you're in here forever. Okay, you could be drawn infinitely. And the entries always goes up. The only time it goes down is because there's like empty wallets or people have sold or whatever. But normally speaking, the entries keep on going up. But that should be a lot higher. Because we're at 6,700 holders. So I don't know why there isn't 6,700 entries. So for those of you guys that are in it, you have a big advantage right now. All right, let's do 3 draws. And if you have more than a minimum amount, there are multipliers, which is always fun. People love multipliers and winning free SOL. First person, 8,552 Clash in their wallet. Congrats. Wins 0.2. Second person has 34,700. Multiplier 1.5. Wins 0.3 SOL. Congrats. And last winner has 18,797. Wins 0.2 SOL. So congrats. It's that simple, and I do giveaways at night too. And, you know, today in a sea of red, I would say the only thing not in red is Clash. But hopefully the whole market turns around today. All right, guys. That is it. T says, Toshi is the meme with the real infrastructure behind it. What infrastructure? What infrastructure? That's what I want to know. Clash, we have the community. We have me leading the way. We have prize tournaments. We have giveaways. And soon we'll have NFTs, staking. Like, there's no community that's going to be better than this. None. None will be better than this. And there's other partnerships I can't discuss yet too. That will make it even greater. All right, guys. So smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys either tonight with my video or my stream. All right? Stay strong. Take care.